right, we're gonna get started showing you the best way to choose corn, what you should look for, what you should know, and then you'll have the perfect ear of corn to enjoy with your barbecue or whatever it is. And I'm also going to show you how you can easily cut the corn off the cob without making a giant mess in your kitchen. And we're going to share with you how we like to choose corn. And Rick grew up in
Northern Indiana. My high school was surrounded by cornfields on 3 sides and a pig farm on the other.
We found some really great corn at the grocery store today. I mean, it's really, really beautiful. This is Silver Queen corn, and it is super sweet, and it's delicious because I tasted it when I was removing it from the cob for our recipe that we're going to do tonight. But I pulled back the husk on this piece of corn. So what you want to look for when you go to the grocery store, I'm just going to put this aside. You go to the grocery store, this is what you're going to see. Big bin of corn, just like this. So what you basically want to look for, I always acquiesce to Rick to pick the corn, because he is like the corn picking king. So you want to make sure that, first of all, the husk is not dried out on the outside. Otherwise, that means it's dried out on the inside.
Yeah, your kernels are going to start denting in because you're getting dried out.
So you don't want the husk to be crispy. And then what you want to do is, we always do this in the grocery store.
We always try to get the big fat round one.
Because you know you're going to have a really nice cob of corn that's going to be supple and full of moisture and really full of flavor. So then what we do is, before we even start picking through the cobs,
Oh yeah, before anything else.
the very first thing we do is
Smell test.
we have to do the sniff test. Okay, so you come and you pull back just pull back a little bit of the husk. And then what you're going to do is you're going to stick your nose right there. And if that smells like dirt,
Sweet dirt.
sweet dirt, I think it smells very grassy and fresh, but it does smell like sweet dirt.
Yes, you want to smell it. You want it to smell sweet, but not smell like weeds.
You want it, in my opinion, to smell like your backyard does after a good rain.
Yeah.
Which is kind of sweet dirt, because the earth is absorbing all of that moisture. But stick your schnoz right there and give a big deep breath, and if it smells like sweet dirt, you know that you're going to have a really good cob of corn. The other thing you want to look for,
like weeds, pass it by.
yeah, because that's not going to be good. The other thing you want to look for is, I don't have a cob of corn that is like this, but you know, sometimes you get them, they're not fully developed, and they'll look, for lack of a better word,
Naked.
They look naked or anemic. The top kernels have not fully developed yet, maybe picked a little bit too early with the rest of the corn, and this whole maybe top of your corn cob is not so pretty.
What nice full kernels.
You do.
Make sure the kernels are not indented.
Yes. And that's,
I mean, they don't have to be perfect like there's one there, but that's just one out of, you don't want a whole bunch of them indented like that.
exactly. So that's how we pick corn. And then you just shuck it. If you're not familiar, I'll show you how I shuck a cob of corn. Is the first thing I usually do before I even pull back all of this is I snap off the bottom.
The stem.
Because most of your outside part is going to come off with the stem. And I do this over the garbage can. If you can do this outside, that's even better. But I usually do it standing by my sink over the trash can. Then if I'm making this just to do corn on the cob and I'm doing it in my pressure cooker, I take a super sharp knife and I cut the ends off here. And I cut the very tip of this pointy end off as well. I just do that because if you're going to use corn holders or something, it is giving you a flat surface in which to pierce the corn on the cob on both ends. So that's how I take care of corn when I want to just cook it for corn on the cob eating. So let me get this out of the way, and then I'm going to show you how I take that off the cob with a knife. I have taken the corn off of 5 cobs tonight because I'm going to be making a recipe that I will be sharing with you. But when I do that, the best way to do it that I have found, and it seriously is not my original idea, I think I've seen this several times in my Facebook feed, but I've been doing it like this for a while. You take a bundt pan or a tube pan of some sort. I find the bundt pan to be easier because it is a little bit of a lower profile. The tube pan is a little deeper, so it's a little higher, and it gets a little bit cumbersome when you're trying to do this, and you don't want your knife to slip and have anybody get hurt. So this may be a little awkward, but you want your sharp knife. This is my Rita Cook's knife, and you just want to situate your knife so that you're going to run right down along that cob and then just gently saw back and forth. And then what you can do is you can either move the cake pan or you can move the cob corn. And don't do that. And it does take a little bit of practice until you get fully comfortable with what you're doing, but go slow and you'll get it in no time. And sometimes you might have to go around another time, but that's all right. Nobody's going to complain if their kernel of corn is broken, because frankly nobody is going to notice.
And they got those fancy gadgets that will do this too. But
you don't need those fancy gadgets. You already have a knife. And if you have a Rita knife, you have the best knife. That's just my opinion. All right, I'll put a link in the information box below if you're interested in learning about the Rita Cook's knife. And then you can go get yourself one. It's awesome. But you can see this does a really good job of cutting the corn off the cob, and now you can go make your own corn dish with that, like corn pudding or cornbread. You can if you're getting ready to can up some home canned corn, this is a great way of doing that. So that's how you pick a perfect cob of corn when you want to have some for dinner or you want to get ready to go canning. And this is how I remove corn from the cob easily without making a giant mess with only a sharp knife and a cake pan. Today we're going to highlight mangoes on Pick Your Produce. Before you get to cutting up your mangoes, you really want to know how to choose your mangoes. So Rick and I were recently at the grocery store where we purchased these mangoes, and we did a little bit of a how to choose a good mango at the grocery store. I filmed it on my phone, so I'm going to fire up that clip right now, and I'm going to show you how Rick best recommends that you pick the best mangoes. So here we go.
First of all, color doesn't matter. It can be as green as you want, or a little bit of orange or red or anything. But what you're looking for is a little bit soft, fleshy, but not too soft. I mean, it's perfect softness. It should have just a little bit of give. That's all. This is almost green. That's nice and soft, but not too soft. I don't know if you can see it. It barely gives.
Yeah, you can see it's barely giving there under your thumb.
Yeah. Not too mushy.
Perfect.
And not too hard.
Yeah. So we're going to take these corn mangoes back to the kitchen and we're going to process them, and I'm going to share with you how we take care of those. Okay, go ahead. Roll.
Okay, like I said in the store, the first thing is color doesn't matter. This one's really green, but it's got the perfect give to it. And I was trying to figure out the perfect way to describe that. If you take your fist and just push on the back of your hand here, that's the perfect give to where you want mango to be. Just a little bit soft, a little bit of give to it. That's the perfect ripeness for a mango. Anyway, that's you don't want them too ripe because they're hard to peel for one thing and they'll fall apart. But you don't want it too hard because that's too ripe, and they don't taste good that way either.
They're gross when they're not ripe. They're really, really bitter, in my opinion.
You just want just a slight give to them when you go to pick them.
You want to cut down either side of the stone that's in the center. So you don't want to get like here because you're going to hit that stone right away and you're going to hurt your knife. So there. Then you turn it around. I'm going to show you how I do it on a regular basis. Now see, I hit this stone here. So I'm going to come out just a little bit further. And I'll show you just by coming down here. You can see, here's the stone right here. And these mangoes are gorgeous. These are actually from Mexico. And what you can do now, this stone is very oval, okay? It looks like a teardrop and it's flat. So you can come over here and take a little bit off of either side. But if you get too close, like right there, see, I'm hitting that stone right there. See? Like that. Now, what I've always done since the girls were small is we'll go ahead and we'll just take the peel off either end and give them the seed to suck on, right? This one, I'm sure many of you have seen. So this is the lobe that we cut off of the one mango. So what you want to do is take your paring knife. Now you don't want to go all the way through the skin, okay? You want to just score the mango flesh. And we're going to kind of slice a checkerboard in here, okay? Now you're going to turn it a quarter of a turn and then go ahead and do the same thing the other way. Now you can feel it that it's not going through the skin. The skin is pretty thick, so okay. Now you have a couple of options. You can just gonna pop it this way, and that's called the hedgehog cut because of obvious reasons. It looks like a little hedgehog. So then you can, like I said, you can take your knife and you can slice it off the skin, or you can just break it off and put it in your salad or in your bowl or whatever you have there. So that's one way to do it. I like to peel the whole mango before I actually cut it. So I just like to go at it and I just peel it. Now this is where you find your flat sides, because when I eat mango, I like it in slices. Like that, and then you can just save the pits over there for a little treat. Somebody will come along and eat them, I promise. I love just having sliced mango. That's one of my favorite things to eat for breakfast or as a little sweet treat to go with a sandwich at lunch. These are also great to put in salads. Now, the last thing I wanted to share was I saw something in my Facebook feed that said you could peel a mango lobe using the side of a glass. I don't know how many of you have tried that. I have never tried it, so I thought let's see what we can do. Now, we did find this glass. It has a nice thin rim on it, and we thought that would work the best. So if you want to try this, if it works, because I don't know if it's going to work, we're going to see if it's going to work. I'm going to just slice down this side of the mango, and it said well, it was kind of demonstrating it, okay? So
oh, look at that.
Well, I think that, yeah, you got a good start, but there's an awful lot of meat there.
With some practice, I'm sure you're probably pretty good.
There's an awful lot of meat still in there. You could do it twice.
Like I said, with practice, you'll get better at it. That's pretty.
Wow, look at that.
Look at that.
Look at that.
But the first thing you need to have is a thin rimmed glass.
That's true. Well, I guess wow, that kind of worked pretty well. Mango has been shown to have antioxidant compounds that are found to protect against colon cancer, leukemia, and prostate cancer. Mango is full of enzymes. Mango is super good for your digestion, so if you eat it along with a meal, it's going to help you break things down. Mango is known to have high levels of fiber, pectin, and vitamin C. These help to lower serum cholesterol levels, specifically your LDLs, which is the bad cholesterol. Mango can be used both internally when you eat it. It can be used externally on your skin, and it can help clear clogged pores and eliminate pimples. 1 cup of sliced mango supplies 25% of the needed daily value for vitamin A, and vitamin A promotes good eyesight and prevents night blindness and dry eyes. Mango boosts your immunity system with generous amounts of vitamin C and vitamin A, plus 25 different kinds of carotenoids, which keep your immune system healthy and strong. Now, there are a couple of cautions for mangoes, which I did not know until recently. If you have a latex allergy, a reaction could happen with mangoes, particularly green mangoes. These are not green mangoes. Green mango means it's unripe, okay? The reaction develops because of the anacardic acid that is in the peel. Now, mango peel and sap contain urushiol, urushiol, and which is a chemical in poison ivy and poison sumac, which cause an allergic reaction in susceptible individuals. And
I was told if you get that stuff on your clothes, it'll turn black and you never get it out.
really, I never knew that. It also says that mangoes which are commercially sold are ripened by some dealers using calcium carbide, which can cause serious health problems. And if you do have inorganic mangoes, wash them properly before consuming or soaking overnight in water. I hope that's helpful, and I hope you learned something all about mangoes today. I want to thank you for joining me. So that's how you pick your produce mangoes. I hope you try it, and I hope you love it. And until next time, I'll see ya.